Hello. Okay, Inside Out 2. Here we continue the story of Riley, who's just turned 13 and is about to hit puberty. And she's flooded with all these new, different, complex emotions. And so it makes for a story that, again, like most Pixar movies do, and that is a story that not only kids but adults can relate to as well and connect to emotionally. And so I was quite intrigued to see how they continue this story with Inside Out 2. And so yes, you've got the introduction of these other emotions like envy and anxiety, and so it allows for a story to be not only thematically deeper and richer, but to have a story that's very human. It's a very human story that I think almost everyone to some degree is going to be able to relate to. And I know I did anyway. And what this movie did for me was it did everything it needed to do. Like, the movie is touching on deeper, more complex emotions when it comes to what their characters are going through. It's a coming of age story where I think all of us are going to be able to relate to it. But it does it in a way that it's not too heavy and it's not too intense for the younger audience. And I feel like the way in which they handle those more deeper and complex themes was very clever. It was very smart, and I felt like it was done in a way that was just right. And so as a whole, Inside Out 2 achieves what it's designed to do. And, emotionally, it took me back to a moment in my life in where I could relate to what these characters are going through. And it's done through some of these very kind of small, sort of more somber, emotional moments with these characters. And I could relate to what the characters are going through. And even adults, even now, today, at this age, you still grapple with these emotions. So the movie is very much sort of like a universal movie in where I feel like it doesn't matter how old you are, everyone's going to be able to relate to what these characters are going through. And so it achieves what the story's designed to do and is set out to do. But this overall experience for me, even though I liked it and I feel like it did everything that it needed to do with what it was tackling within its story, I just couldn't help but personally feel like this film, this overall experience, felt very much paint by the numbers. Like it's just going back to what I'm saying about it doing exactly what it needed to do. It does what it should do, what the story's designed to do, but it felt very paint by the numbers for me, and at times I'd forget I was watching a Pixar movie even. And what I mean by this is I've grown up with Pixar. Like, I remember Toy Story coming out and watching it on VHS, and Pixar has always been very clever and smart when it comes to sort of the deeper themes within their stories. Like, the movies are universal, they're for everyone, but when it comes to like sort of the humour, for example, it's always been more this kind of spectrum where not only, you've got humour which is designed and targeted towards a younger audience, we've also got that humour that's buried within the story that only adults are going to get and understand, along with those sort of deeper themes. And so a Pixar experience for me has always had that kind of spectrum where it is very much, you've got something for everyone, and it's done in a way that's very smart and very clever. You kind of got that, but it feels very safe. And it kind of felt, and it pains me to say this, but a little bit dull, which again, I don't want to really refer to this movie as being dull, because from a creative and imaginative perspective, it is very vibrant. Like, I liked a lot of the ideas and sort of the imagination and creativity going on with the world and how the world is brought to life. But I just couldn't help but as a whole, as one overall experience, there was this sort of dullness about it And a lot of that just stems down to the fact that it was very paint by the numbers. It was doing everything it needed to do, but it wasn't really pushing boundaries when it came to sort of telling a familiar story, and a story that everyone's going to be able to relate to in a way that's very different or very refreshing. Like, it felt very standard. Another way in which I can sort of explain how it is that I felt about this movie was comparing it to another animated movie that came out last year. A movie that took me by surprise. It absolutely floored me because I really, really liked it. And that was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It tackles similar themes. You know, you've got anxiety and all of that. So you've got very kind of human, deep themes that these two films, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and Inside Out 2, both tackle. And they both do it in a way that's very smart and very clever. But what Puss in Boots managed to do with those familiar, with those similar themes, was really kind of wrap you up with these characters' journeys. And you felt like you were on these journeys with these characters, and it was fun. It was exciting, and there were moments where I really laughed out loud. And you had, in many ways, that kind of classic Pixar humour as well, even though it's not Pixar. Puss in Boots isn't Pixar. In many ways, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish took me back to classic Pixar. With this, Inside Out 2 feels like it's more Disney, and that kind of sort of that paint by the numbers, doing exactly what it needs to do and playing it safe. Even though I do acknowledge, like, with the themes that it is exploring, I felt like it does it well. And I'm not going to deny, there are moments with this film, with Inside Out 2, where yes, emotionally it did struck a chord, and it did, it does everything it needs to do. But as an overall experience, unlike Puss in Boots, where I felt like it was fun, it felt different, it felt new when it came to the animation and how the story was told, Inside Out 2 was just lacking that magic, you could say. And that's just me personally. I think a lot of people are going to love the movie, especially kids. It is vibrant, and but for me, performances when it comes to the voice talent is great. They do a fantastic job at bringing these characters to life and giving them their own sort of distinct personalities. And again, just like a lot of other aspects with this movie, it does the job. It does exactly what it needs to. What I will say is, I've never been a massive fan of the character design when it comes to the emotions and how it looks visually. So, and the way in which they're animated. I don't know what it is, but I've never been a fan. But yeah, the film Inside Out 2 was a pleasant experience where I liked it. I liked what they were doing. I enjoyed it. I do feel like there are moments where perhaps it, for me anyway, personally got a little bit slow when it came to its story. And I think kids might feel that. I don't know, or it could just be me. I really don't know. But that kind of just sort of goes back to what I'm saying about this overall experience, when ultimately it was just a little bit dull. But it also ticks all the boxes. It does exactly what the film needed to do with its story. And so, yeah, there was nothing to really hate or dislike about the film. It was a very pleasant experience, and I think there are definitely people, without a doubt, going to enjoy this movie a hell of a lot more than I did. But just for me personally, it did everything it needed to do. It did evoke the right emotions within certain moments, but as an overall experience, it was just very standard and was just perhaps a little bit restrained and a little bit too safe when it came to just what I'm used to, really, when it comes to Pixar movies. And maybe that's just me. Do you know what? I don't know, but you guys will have to let me know in the comments below. But yeah, they are my thoughts on Inside Out 2, and I will be giving Inside Out 2 a 6.5 out of 10. So yeah, they are my thoughts on Pixar's latest, but what did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Then please let me know in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to watch future movie reviews from just some random Welsh geek rambling on, then please hit the subscribe button. It would mean an awful lot to me. I think it's great that Inside Out 2 is doing the numbers at the box office that it is. It's breaking records, and I just think it's, it's great to hear that people are going to the cinema. It's been a little bit sort of deflated in many ways due to sort of what's happened with Furiosa and The Fall Guy. Two movies that I really liked, I really enjoyed, and I'm very surprised that they just haven't taken the money that I thought they may. Furiosa is a fantastic film and it's fun, it's exciting, and so I'm a little bit surprised that people just did not go out to watch it. But anyway, maybe that's a discussion for another video. My next movie review will be for Nicolas Cage's latest, and that is Arcadian. I'm really looking forward to checking that out, and that will be my next movie review. So yeah, enough rambling from me. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll be catching you guys soon.